The night was thick with tension as Scarlet Monroe slipped into her sleek black dress, her fiery red hair cascading down her back like a waterfall of flames. Her piercing blue eyes sparkled with determination as she applied a final coat of deep crimson lipstick. Tonight was the night she'd been waiting for. The night she'd finally bring Richard Hart to justice. Scarlet had spent months tracking Hart, a notorious con artist who left a trail of broken hearts and empty bank accounts across the country. He was charming, handsome, and utterly ruthless, a perfect match for Scarlet's particular set of skills. As she stepped out of her apartment, the cool night air kissed her skin, sending a shiver of anticipation down her spine. She'd arranged to meet Hart at an exclusive rooftop bar, where the city's elite gathered to sip overpriced cocktails and make backroom deals. The elevator doors opened, revealing a sea of glittering dresses and tailored suits. Scarlet's eyes scanned the crowd, searching for her target, and there he was. Richard Hart, looking devastatingly handsome in a perfectly fitted tuxedo, his salt and pepper hair artfully tousled. Their eyes met across the room, and Scarlet felt a jolt of electricity. She knew it was just part of the game, but she couldn't deny the raw attraction she felt. Hart's lips curved into a predatory smile as he made his way towards her, weaving through the crowd with effortless grace. "Scarlet Monroe," he purred, taking her hand and bringing it to his lips. "I've been looking forward to meeting you." Scarlet allowed herself a coy smile, playing the part of the enchanted socialite to perfection. "The pleasure is all mine. Mr. Hart, your reputation precedes you." They fell into easy conversation, Hart regaling her with tales of his supposed business ventures and world travels. Scarlet laughed at all the right moments, her eyes never leaving his face. She could see why so many women had fallen for his act. He was utterly captivating. As the night wore on, Hart suggested they move to a more private setting. Scarlet's heart raced as she agreed, knowing this was her chance to gather the evidence she needed. They slipped away from the party, taking Hart's private elevator to his penthouse suite. The moment the doors closed, Hart's demeanor changed. His charming smile turned predatory as he pressed Scarlet against the wall, his lips crashing down on hers. For a moment, Scarlet lost herself in the kiss, her body responding to his touch, despite her better judgment. But as Hart's hands began to roam, Scarlet snapped back to reality. With a swift movement, she broke free from his grasp, her stiletto heel coming down hard on his instep. Hart howled in pain, stumbling backward. "What the hell?" he snarled, his mask of charm completely shattered. Scarlet's eyes blazed with fury as she reached into her purse, pulling out a small recording device. "Richard Hart, you're finished. I have evidence of all your crimes. The women you've conned, the money you've stolen, it's over." Hart's face contorted with rage as he lunged at Scarlet, but she was ready for him. Years of martial arts training kicked in as she ducked under his grasp, using his momentum to send him crashing into the wall. The elevator doors opened and Scarlet darted out into Hart's penthouse, her eyes scanning for an escape route. But Hart was right behind her, his earlier charm replaced by murderous intent. "You think you can take me down?" he snarled, advancing on her. "I've dealt with nosy bitches like you before." Scarlet's heart pounded as she backed away, her hand fumbling for the gun concealed in her thigh holster. But before she could reach it, Hart was on her, his hands wrapping around her throat. Stars exploded behind Scarlet's eyes as she struggled for breath, her nails clawing at Hart's face. With a desperate surge of strength, she brought her knee up hard, connecting with Hart's groin. He released her with a howl of pain, doubling over. Gasping for air, Scarlet stumbled towards the balcony, hoping to find a fire escape. But as she reached the railing, she realized with horror that there was nowhere to go. They were 60 stories up, the city lights twinkling far below. Hart's footsteps echoed behind her, and Scarlet turned to face him, her back pressed against the railing. He advanced slowly, a twisted smile on his face. "Nowhere to run now, sweetheart," he taunted. "You should have stayed out of my business." As Hart lunged for her, time seemed to slow down. Scarlet saw her life flash before her eyes. All the criminals she'd brought to justice, all the lives she'd saved, and in that moment, she made a decision. With a fierce cry, Scarlet grabbed Hart's arm as he reached for her, using his momentum to flip him over the railing. For a split second, their eyes met. Scarlet's filled with grim determination, Hart's with utter disbelief. And then, he was gone, plummeting towards the unforgiving pavement below. Scarlet collapsed to the ground, her body shaking with adrenaline and shock. She'd never killed anyone before, had always prided herself on bringing criminals to justice through legal means, but Hart had left her no choice. As sirens wailed in the distance, Scarlet forced herself to her feet. She had to get out of there, had to disappear before the police arrived. Her mind raced as she gathered her things, erasing any trace of her presence. As she slipped out of the building and into the night, Scarlet knew her life would never be the same. She'd crossed a line tonight, one she could never uncross. But as she thought of all the women Hart had hurt, all the lives he'd ruined, she knew she'd made the right choice. The cool night air caressed her face as she walked away, her red hair a beacon in the darkness. Scarlet Monroe, the woman who brought criminals to justice, was gone. In her place stood someone new. Someone harder, darker, but no less determined to right the wrongs of the world. As she disappeared into the shadows, Scarlet allowed herself one last glance at the glittering skyscraper behind her. Richard Hart was dead, his reign of terror finally over. But for Scarlet, the real battle was just beginning.